everybody. How we all doing today? Woo! Yeah.
Going on?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was a little weird. Apparently I pressed the button while I was finishing my little setup or whatever, and it's totally showing my desktop for a second. That fun fact actually. If you're talking about busy desktop, I literally run with 3 monitors to do this. So I've got this on lockdown with the 3 monitor setup to actually make sure I can get as professional quality a stream as possible. You know why? I do it only for one person, literally one person. That's you, Ollie. That's you, buddy. I do that for you. That's right. I want to make sure. I want to make sure that I make my buddy Dane Allerant proud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's right.
That was great. Bravo to Dane Iron. Good performance. Good all round show.
Yeah, that was it was good fun. I mean I enjoyed it. I had a great battle with Tan and whatnot, which is cool and stuff. So it was good fun. But we're not here to talk about Lost Initiative, are we? No.
No.
We're here to talk about.
Stinks.
Oh, whoa. Okay. Let's see. Let me mute his mic. There we go. All right, Ollie, you're muted.
Slander.
Much like Mathis muted you.
Oh, he actually didn't. Yeah.
Oh, you said he was going to.
Yeah. He always says he is, but then he knows I'll beat him up because he's small. So, yeah, that's what happens in your small life. So, all right, how's everybody doing tonight? Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Good.
we're gonna get pretty much into D&D real quicks. But before we do that, I just want to see how was everybody's week? Erin, did you do anything exciting, anything new and or different?
I had a birthday, and I had a surprise birthday party that my fiance threw. I think he's right over there. That
Nope,
one?
actually wrong way.
No, really?
Yeah, wrong way.
So
I
close.
don't know about that.
Because you're flipped. You're flipped. I'm
Wait,
telling you. I'm looking at
is
OBS. Yeah, he's that way, and it's
Oh,
not me.
that
So I'm
way,
just gonna
that
keep
way.
passing it. I'm gonna keep passing it that way. So it's not me. It's that way.
It's this guy.
Do you want to pass that somewhere else? You can just keep passing that if you'd like. You can throw it down. No.
You did a really nice job. It was Lord of the Rings themed.
Nice.
I
LTR.
still have ivy all over my living room. Looks gorgeous. I don't want to take it down.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed your birthday. I think you turned the big quarter of a century, which means you got grays now. Yeah, super exciting.
Yep.
Grays.
No, we turned white.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Not
Yeah.
gray because you're blonde. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? Aside from throwing a birthday for your fiance, you have a good week there, Eric?
Yeah, pretty good. I worked.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Will, you have a good week?
Yeah, went on a couple of hikes. It was great weather, so I just enjoyed the weather the best I could. I didn't work. I was on vacation this week, actually.
I forgot you had told me that and said, hey, if you need me to do anything extra for you, I'd be more than happy to do so. And I totally forgot because I personally was crazy busy, but that's okay. That's good. Listen, I had to stream making 2 10th level characters in a day. That was all right. And Ollie, how was your week? Your vacation's over.
Yeah, it's returning to work, and let's say if your job is drawing and you haven't drawn for 2 odd weeks, it's all and my computer's falling apart, so everything is just great.
Awesome.
If I disappear during the stream, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Oh man. We're just gonna replace you with a raccoon that's digging through a trash barrel. Just as a little video.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put that on loop, like a 10-minute video on loop. Okay, so we're not here to talk about Ollie's computer problems or the fact that Aaron's old. Nope, we're not here to talk about that at all. We're here to play some.
Buddy, you're 30.
I'm 31. Okay, 31,
Yeah, you're super
and that
old.
is a sexy 31. Okay, all right. So what was I saying? Let's get into Dungeons and Dragons. Where we left off last time, I'm actually going to allow our note keeper over here, Luca. Could you tell me what happened last session? How it went?
Yeah,
You don't have
so,
to read the notes. That's cool.
No, I get you. We basically had found Dane dead after him running away from us. He got killed by, assuming an elvish assassin. That's what Stalbor and Luca found out. After we found out he was dead, we decided to split off into 2 teams, Team A and Team 1. Team A was very, very successful in finding that information out. Team 1 tried to go talk to the prisoners and found that they were not so talkative. They wouldn't give any information. Any information they did know, they couldn't give because they cut their own tongue out. Then we kind of realized, well, I mean, what do we do next? We went back to the tavern that we usually go to and decided, I think, to try to get into contact with Yozis, who was the gnome that actually said she'd contact us in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we left off, I believe.
Okay. And I believe there was, so like you said, there was the tongue was cut out, so there's that whole bit right there. And you also found the information for the body, but I'm going to defer this one over to our house necromancer. Stolbor, what did you find out from the body specifically? I know he touched on that.
The body was incredibly brutalized, but the killing blow was a very precise attack from an elvish short sword.
Yeah.
And it was attacked. The rest of the damage was done post-mortem.
That's right. Awesome. So it seems as though it was a setup. Awesome. All right, and that sounds great. We had the team groups, who I still don't remember what the groups were, but that doesn't matter.
Team A and Team 1.
Yeah, I know, of course. Yeah. So you guys had split up, and it was literally one of those things where you had completed the task to the end of your understanding. There was no reason for you guys to spend any more time together. You're all good. You've accomplished a task that you got hired for, didn't get paid for because the person that you got hired died, and you're maybe a little dissatisfied about that, but there's no reason for you to be together. I guess it's one of those, we'll see what happens when Yosis comes and talks to us. So a few days later, so days do pass, and I'm actually curious real quick. Stolbor, I already know what you're doing because you live in this area, so you kind of like back to business as always. And
I'm just working.
Yep, you're just continuing to work. Odette, your family has a pretty decent sized house here, and they can totally put you up into a comfortable house, so that's not a problem whatsoever. So you're back to what you're doing. Luca, your family also has a huge house here, but you're not really the kind of person that just like lives off of your family, like a oversized. I'm just saying. So since Luca is not a plump leech, what does Luca do in this meanwhile?
Luca would have likely stayed in the tavern inn that we were in for a couple. If it was just a couple of nights, anything further, after maybe 3 nights, he would have probably reached out to his house simply because funds would be getting a little tight.
Gotcha. Okay. And then Reich, what would Reich be doing in this point in time?
I have a little bit of money, so I think I could stay at a nice little place for right now.
Okay. Well, just see. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was gonna say I have some wealth to me, so I'm willing to spend a little bit more to be comfortable.
Okay. So you guys, the kind of quality of life that you're going to be doing in here is it's based off of in 5e a little structure. So I'm just going to go over that really quickly. Sorry to get all heavy on rules for you for a second. But if you're going to be living a wretched lifestyle that costs you nothing, you're literally on you're begging in the streets, you're eating out of trash cans, doing what you're going to do. If you want to spend 1 silver piece a day, you're really able to live in squalor. So you're eating like bread primarily, maybe a piece of fruit every once in a while throughout the course of the week. To live poor, so you're eating, foods, just not the freshest of foods, maybe like varied vegetables and whatnot mixed in there, but they're kind of old on the market. That's 2 silver pieces a day. Modest living, this is like your middle class lifestyle. This is going to be living off of a gold piece a day. Then there's a comfortable living, which is common for adventurers. That's 2 gold pieces a day, and I think that's probably where Reich is. And then there's wealthy, which is the quality of living you would get from like lesser nobles or wealthy merchants or whatever the case may be. And then there's aristocratic, that's 4 gold pieces. Aristocratic is 10. Aaron, you get the 4 gold pieces for free. That's amazing for you. William, you're able to take the modest for free if you're kind of like putting in a little bit of work with your family. So that's cool there. Stolbor, you live in the poor situation just because you choose to keep the extra money for your research and whatnot. So you choose to live poor. I imagine you're going more modest there, Reich?
Yeah, I would probably go for modest.
Awesome. And what do you do in your spare time aside from just like living a modest lifestyle? Are you like expending money, or are you trying to do like work? Like, I don't know if your character's here making contacts or if he's here just taking in the sights out of his own pocket.
I'd be looking for my next move. I'm looking for work right now.
So you're actively actually looking to do work?
Yes.
Awesome. And
Salvor has some suggestions about that. I probably ignored.
Eric, I don't know if you're using the wrong microphone, but it's coming in a little weird. So I would just double check and make sure you're using the right microphone over there. All right. So you guys are living your lifestyles, doing whatever you're going to do. Yosis eventually reaches out to contact, but the easiest person to contact, and frankly, the one that she got along with the best, is Odette. So Odette, because, Odette was the one that approached her immediately after she was attacked and everything. So she reaches out to Odette and sends a message to her saying, meet me at such and such at this time. So she actually asks you to meet at the marketplace where she was attacked initially, and she asks you to meet her around closing time of that marketplace, which is about the same time that you guys were attacked or fended off that thing originally. It's kind of a little weird, but you're like, okay, this is at least a legitimate thing, and it's for the next night. So Odette, how is it you want to reach out to the others? Just send a messenger, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you just simply send a messenger out to everybody else. Just be like, hey, she's looking for us right now. Everything's good to, she wants to get to us. I imagine everybody comes fully equipped and prepared for what might be thrown at them.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So you guys make your way over to that location, and I can actually drop you, even though it's not important right now, but just as a reminder of what the location looked like, I'm going to drop you in that map over on Roll20, and I'll pop that map open real quick in the, what's it called? In the overlay for 1 second. So this is the map I'm referring to. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
And we can just eliminate those corpses because they don't matter anymore. That was just that one corpse. So this is the map I was referring to, and you guys are actually going to be meeting up with her there. So meeting up with her there is she meets you. It's a little bit of like a cloak and dagger. She's actually going to meet you over by the statue itself. And when you guys notice her, maybe coming together, maybe somewhat separately, but we'll assume you meet up first before you actually go and approach her. So you all meet up. You kind of like give each other the nod or whatever the hellos are. We don't need to go over the details. And you make your way over to the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad that you were able to make it. I'm glad that all of you had stuck in town. I appreciate it."
Of course. I assuming you're contacting us because you had more information?
I do have more information, and I'm sorry. I thought maybe meeting here would potentially be a good idea because I didn't think it was likely that they would attack in the same place twice.
So while this conversation's happening, you notice that I'm like listening, but a little bit at like a disconnect, kind of just scoping out the whole area the whole time,
Yeah.
just to make sure that nothing fishy looks like it's going down, make sure we're not being attacked. My back will even be turned to the group at times, just to kind of look behind me every now and then. But that's what I'm doing during this interaction.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm certainly hopeful that's not the case.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for keeping the guard, she says, patting on the hip, because she's so short, being a gnome, patting on the hip Luca, who she, of course, does remember is the one that stood over her, thinking that she was a little girl at the time, that stood over her, protecting her when things went awry before. So she says, well, I've come to discover the plot is a little bit bigger than what we had originally thought. It wasn't just a small group of people, of radicals that had planned to attack me. Apparently they belong to a larger faction. I don't know if you've been able to learn of anything like this on your own before, but I've even come to understand a name.
Indeed.
Are any of you familiar with the word Dask? That's D-A-A-S-K. Dask. And Reich, you obviously know that is a goblin word. There's goblin language word. There's no question about that. And what it translates to is purity.
Okay. Have I ever heard of that out of that normal?
It's a really good question. You're all welcome to roll for me a history check. Stalbor, you're rolling at normal. Reich, you're rolling at normal. Both Odette and Luca are going to roll at disadvantage.
Sure thing. I mean,
this isn't bad. Wow, you guys actually happen to know this considerable amount. So, Luca, you've heard of an organization named, and it's funny that Erin does, or Odette doesn't, because, it's just funny that Odette doesn't. Luca, what you know is that there's an organization of primarily goblinkin, potentially entirely goblinkin, that have been acting up in on Dare for a short period of time now. They've actually caused little bits of terrorist action, and little bits of terrorist action, whether it be like just killing random civilians or taking back little bits of lands that originally belonged to the Dakani Empire before, and literally planting Dakani flags. But then when people go back to like kind of like whether it be merchant shop, all they find is corpses and the Dakani flag there, but no attackers left behind, no bodies of the attackers left behind should any of them have died. It's been rather small and kept rather quiet. But that's what you found out from being in a country adjacent to that country, and curious about what the going-ons and because of the relationship between your two countries. Odette knows nothing because she's so caught up in her own society that she doesn't care about the struggles of peasants. You know about this, Reich, being a goblinkin yourself and being so closely tied to the Dakani Empire yourself. You know that what they're doing, they believe they're doing for the honor of your people, and it's actually kind of upsetting to you that you weren't able to draw this line before when you were questioning those prisoners. However, you did hear about them a considerable time back, but you thought that they were dismantled by your own people. You thought that your own people took care of that problem long before the others, the other races of Corvair really came to understand that it was an organization. You thought that was taken care of. So it's a little disconcerting for you. How you choose to take that is up to you. Stalbor, however, who lives in Sharn, knows that they have been acting with increasing frequency. The fact that this was an organized thing that you had dealt with just a few nights prior, a week prior, you didn't draw a line of connection to this before. Why would you have? There are consistently Goblinkin issues in the city. It's just what happens when you have people in squalor fighting against those above them, right? But hearing this, now you're like, oh crap, this is genuinely organized and potentially funded because they've done some interesting things before. They've even attempted at one point in time to attack one of the sky cities. So it's like one of the big floating chunks of land that have buildings on top of it. That was literally thwarted before they even set foot on soil. So you guys have this information. She just said to you, have you ever heard the word Dask? Translates directly to purity, says Reich. Odette knows nothing. Everybody, she said that to Odette. Everybody else, please.
They are a group operating in this city with increasing frequency. It's troubling that now it comes to us to start solving the problem then.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I didn't know that there was a problem before, but after I started looking into things, because my own life was put at risk, that's when I came to unveil what has been happening. And I was scared before. Obviously, I was scared. My life was at risk, but now knowing that it's a bigger thing that had targeted me, knowing that it wasn't just a nothing, just a random plot, I'm genuinely scared, and I need to do my work here. It's extremely important. However, I feel as though I'm only going to be safe if I return to Zalargo, but then I'm putting all of the work that I've at risk, and at this point in time she's kind of like babbling on to herself about things that you might not necessarily care about. Feel free to interrupt her any point in time.
Star Wars listening.
Of course.
I would say, I guess Luca would just interrupt and just be like, yeah, but back to Dask, like try to redirect her back to the conversation that we're involved in as opposed to her ramblings.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I'm sorry, Dask. So I've come to find out some information, and I found out somebody that might even know a location of theirs. I'll just keep this simple. If you go to that person and you're able to find out where it is that they have a headquarters, I just can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm afraid. I'm genuinely afraid, and I'm willing to pay for my safety. And she says, kind of like ashamed that she's asking for such a thing.
Mm-hmm. We can keep you safe. We just need to know where we're going.
I'll tell you the name of the contacts that I've been able to come in contact with. When you when you speak to him, he'll tell you where you can go. But I just, and I'll pay you. That just sounds so awful. Because I mean, we all know what I'm asking for here, and it's just something I've never asked for before. I'm sorry. And once again, she kind of looks away, just like shamed. Now, Luca is very accustomed to the idea of somebody getting paid to kill somebody else, effectively mercs for hire. And this is a legitimate thing going against an illegal organization. This is literally up your family's alley, even if it's not your personal shtick. This is normal to you. But to her, it's alien and foreign, and she feels dirty even talking about it.
Yeah, I don't press it any further. I guess I read her. I read that, and I'm just like, well, yeah, we'll do it.
Does anybody else say anything at this point in time? Or you just kind of let her pick back up afterwards?
I'm gonna try to reassure her. Like, no, these are bad people doing illegal things. We will keep you safe.
And the people of this city.
And the people of the city.
Oh, of course, yes. I mean, I'm not. I am worried about them as well, of course. Like that is a major factor for why it is that I'm asking for this and not just retreating back home. It's there's so many factors weighing on my mind. But yes, okay. So if you're willing to do this, I'm willing to pay. I'm definitely willing to pay. The agreed upon price with my contact, the agreed upon price was 75 gold, and he'll give you the location. And I don't expect that to come from you. And so she actually produces a purse.
Okay. I'll let them handle the money.
Who takes it?
Oh, I don't take it.
Of course. Who takes it?
If
There's going to be an awkward pause.
It's a long, awkward pause about money.
And it takes a long time for Starboard to even interrupt the awkward pause.
Yeah.
Where he would step forward and take.
So it's funny because you say that. So he holds it out, and Luca is very much against the idea of taking the money, even though he knows he's kind of going to have to do it. So this is a long pause that drags on for so long. She's like, now like her eyes like widen and narrow down at the bag and look up at you guys and widen again. And she's like horrified that she's doing this. Like she's tripled down on her self-doubt of even the fact that she's put herself in a situation of hiring people to murder people. And so she starts taking the money back like, I shouldn't have done this. And then Stalbor realizes, like, what is the matter with them? This is money, and it's just, we're doing a good thing.
Even Stalbor's actually not that comfortable with this.
Yeah.
And he probably will bring it up later, but...
Yeah. So Stalbor's eventually kind of like reaches forward, almost like giving in, like, okay, fine, I'll take the money. Is that what I'm getting from you?
Yeah. What is it, 75 gold for the contact?
Yeah, 75 gold just to pay out to the contact. So she's like, if you go there and meet with him this evening, if you go and meet with him tonight, or her, the name that they gave me was Raike. So I don't know. I just know it's Raike.
Stalbor looks it right.
How did they spell it?
I did not stop to question the person that gave me that information, the spelling of the contact's name.
You have a sister that we should know about?
Is there something humorous here?
I just look at him for a moment, and I look back at her, and I said, "Who gave you this information?"
I could try to draw you a map of who to who, but realistically, the time is that the candle is burning at both ends for whether or not you're going to be able to meet them before they leave.
I look at the. And where is this contact supposed to be?
Well, it's actually the reason why I had you meet here is because I'm meeting you much later than perhaps we should have for this. They're not far from here. Have you ever heard of the Crimson Alley? And Stalbor absolutely has. It doesn't matter whether or not you other guys do. The Crimson Alley is the illegal red light district that exists in this part of town. It is.
What are you trying to say?
It is. Well, no, because you happen to live in the crappy part of town. So it is the specifically illegal red light district that is in this part of town. So it's the Crimson Alley. It's where you can go to get what you want and not have to pay too terribly much for it. But also the Crimson Alley is renowned for bodies just turning up left and right for one reason or another. So.
Not cute.
So she's like, over in the Crimson Alley. He'll meet you there. He said that it'll be rather obvious. He's going to be wearing a bright purple cloak.
Okay.
Starbo's gonna be like garish, and he's wearing a bright red, like mage's outfit.
Yeah. After everything is said and done, I just reach out to me. She says again to Odette, reach out to me, and I'll meet with you again, and we'll make sure everything is settled.
Of course. I do have to ask, how did you come across this information?
Same as I told your friend here. It's I could explain it to you in further if we had more time, but time is ticking. I would love to give you the details. Well, some of them I've paid to not say. It's all new to me, and I just don't want to end up like, well, did you read the paper about that performer?
Yes.
It's just, it seems as though it doesn't matter who you are, your life is. I'm sorry, I'm speaking like somebody who's worth more than that. Just please, before I tie my tongue into another knot, please just, I promise I'll settle this. I just couldn't get my hands on more before, and keep things subtle. Please just meet with me afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys just kind of take it and leave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stalbor's like gonna keep the money in like a separate pocket and start heading off. And I'm sort of almost reluctantly go, the Crimson Alley is this way. For the
geez.
record, I've had to work with people who work in the Crimson Alley.
I'm sure they're lovely people.
Okay.
Awesome.
I don't judge people because of their
Yeah,
profession.
come on. We don't
choices.
We don't kink shame, okay? Literally just yesterday I was playing a character that supposedly has relations with corpses. Supposedly, okay? That wasn't true.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. It wasn't true. It wasn't true. There was somebody else imposing their fantasies on me, but we don't kink shame up in here. You do you and whatever else you'd like. So long as they allow it, we're good to go. All right. So you guys are you guys make
talk about the awkwardness of the coin for a moment when we're walking.
Yeah.
I feel like that probably deserves a little bit, at least a mention.
Yeah, please, RP away.
Stalbol, like, as he double counts the money, but like in separate bits, so it's not so suspicious. It's like, you do realize I am not a mercenary. I'm still entirely confused why Dane de Leander thought I was suitable for this task.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with this either. I propose we go and maybe gather information on these people first,
And hand it off
rather
to the
than just go in to assassinate.
Yes.
I agree.
And especially because we don't know where this information's coming from.
There are a lot of strange sources in this city.
She seems awfully innocent and reluctant to do this
Mhm.
task, but
I can tell you that
people are rarely what they seem.
we destroyed this. I think it was Drac, or Dak.
Dask. DASSK. Dask.
We
Eric, feel free to pronounce it differently because you would have your goblin accent to it. So kind of like me saying Japolino versus jalapeno, you know? So feel free to pronounce it correctly in goblin.
I say. Japolino. All right.
Listen, I worked in a restaurant for over 13 years. I've heard people say, "Can I get me some quesadillas with some extra Japolinos in there? I appreciate that." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure." It's second largest language in our country, but okay. Go ahead.
All right. I would say these Dask, they were gone long ago. We made sure of that.
Evidently, you made sure wrong.
I glare at him with that.
Ouch.
You know how many hobgoblins there are in the world? You know how many goblins there are? These are posers. We should find them and end them.
Anything to say, Luca?
No, Luca's kind of just like watching this whole interaction back and forth between you guys, and he's just kind of like he's trying to avoid the conversation almost. Where
To what Reich says, I'm just gonna shake my head and say I have no intention of going there killing people. without reason.
Well, like we discussed before, there's no knowing that the proper authorities aren't muddied and influenced in a city like this. I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
We all have
no.
our morals. We can stand by them in a moment. And in that moment, that's when we'll decide who we really are.
That was deep.
And see.
Awesome. So you guys are going to make your way over to Crimson, and actually I have a real quick question in case I have to fix it during this first upcoming break, so to give you some time for people to look at it. I was told once the link down below towards the character information is incorrect. However, it worked for me all 3 times I tried it earlier today. So if the link down below towards the character information is broken, please let me know over in chat, and I'll fix it during the break. But moving on. So you guys make your way towards the Crimson Alley, and in the Crimson Alley, you will... my apologies, my brain's not working. You're making your way over towards this Crimson Alley, looking around for this person that has the purple cloak. And again, it's supposed to be very, very obvious. Now, in a place like the Crimson Alley, you're not going to come across one person with a purple cloak, of course. You're going to come across several people with a purple cloak because it happens to be an area full of those that would dress garish. So, could you make for me not a perception check, because it's so easy to spot them, but actually a insight check for you to be able to do so?
All of us?
Everybody make for me an insight check to try to find the person you're looking for, please, and thank you. You know who has a disadvantage on that insight check there, Ollie?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's entirely true. Well, it depends what race they are. But...
I might be spilling the beans here, Ollie.
Nice.
Not too bad though. I mean, it's still above 10.
Coming out strong tonight, Aaron.
I can't roll dice in this campaign, apparently.
Aaron does not know the kind of people that would visit. Well,
Obviously.
the
She's
people at her
outstanding.
house, they get high class whores, you know.
High class force.
Nice. All right, so sadly, I feel bad. Listen, Odette, don't worry about it, because when I play as a PC, I roll terribly for the first few sessions, and then it goes away, okay? Eventually, you look epic. I'm sorry that you have to be the one that suffers. It will transition to somebody else, most likely Luca, because I'm going to will it. Anyways, so you are making your way towards the... through the alley and trying to find out who this person is. Looking around, actually, none of you guys rolled poorly aside for Odette. Literally, the first person that Odette sees with a purple cloak, she immediately thinks that's the person. Shady person,
over there.
purple cloak. And you guys all look over, and as Odette maybe even be walking towards that person, she walks quickly, and she is not afraid of conversation. All 3 of you kind of like simultaneously grab her by the shoulder, and like, not that one. Not that one.
Not that one?
And then you keep...
Wearing the cloak.
You keep walking along, and you see a few different cloaks. Sadly, the person who it is both escapes Odette, who literally thinks anybody with a purple cloak is likely it, and it also escapes Stalbor, who's a little too critical about who looks shady enough. But both Reich and Luca are easily able to find out who this person is. It's kind of like one of those, one of them goes to gesture towards it, maybe like absent-mindedly, like, oh, I'm thinking that's the one, and the other one might like nod at them, you know, however it goes, silent communication, that you guys know that that's the person. And so how do you choose to approach the person in the purple cloak? Let me describe. They're outside of a shop that has a whole bunch of different types of wares being sold inside, almost like a gift shop or like something you would see in, I hate to make the reference, but like Diagon Alley, just so you would have a point of reference. So a ton of stuff sold inside the shop, a ton of stuff sold outside the shop, almost like a vacation spots gift shop that you would find on a busy road. Tons of stuff everywhere, and this person is half-ass looking through the wares that are hanging there, and looks like they're trying to make a purchase, right? It stands out very obvious to the 2 of you that they are clearly looking around for a contact for somebody.
First, I guess I will just like, after showing everyone like, okay, that's obviously the person. I'll walk over next to them and also start looking through the goods. Not so close that we're like touching, but like I'd say a solid 2.5 feet between us, just also looking through the goods.
There's no reason for you to be suspected, so roll me a deception with advantage, please.
Sure thing.
So you go over there. What is other people doing? What are other people doing? You're kind of hanging back as Luca took the lead.
When I see him go for it, I'm actually going to move to a nearby place. I'm not going to go directly up to where they are because I don't want to just surround them.
Definitely.
I'm going to go to like a nearby a nearby location and just kind of stand unthreateningly, just kind of stand in the background.
Okay.
Odette is going to continue to look for other people in purple cloaks because she's not convinced that Luca's right.
Star Wars going with is like, that one does not look nearly suspicious enough. A contact would not be shopping at that store. It's not.
I agree.
The contact actually goes over to Luca. It takes a moment because like Luca's kind of like tosses a couple glances over at them, and then at one point in time, you guys literally like meet eyes, and then he gives you like a nod, like acknowledging you.
Yeah. I guess I'll kind of just like nod back, but.
And then as
in
you
my
nod
head-
back, literally as you nod back, before you can even get into much detail about it, he turns and starts walking down a dark alley.
Okay, so I wait about 3 seconds,
Mhm.
4 seconds, 5 seconds, and then I follow.
Okay. Everybody else follow as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna wait a couple
That's
seconds. and
super
follow him.
sketchy if we all follow.
Yeah, no, I maybe Odette doesn't recognize how sketchy it is, and probably Starball would be like,
I'm like, oh, let's go.
we
I
have to
guess,
look
but-
like we're perusing the goods. He says, looking to a brothel.
we have to.
You don't want to look suspicious. I already look suspicious.
Fine.
And in we go.
And the two of you go into a brothel, to which, don't worry, Odette covers the cover cost for you guys to walk in. Don't worry, it's Crimson Alley. It's not a nice area, so it's only 8 copper to get in there for the two of you guys. It's pittance.
Lovely.
That's literally pennies to Odette. And you guys go walking into the brothel to see the scene inside, which maybe I'll describe, maybe I won't. Leave that as a cliffhanger. Moving on. So the two of you go walking down the alley to meet up with this person. And as you walk down the alley, Luca, you can barely see things. It's so hard to see because of the dim light. However, Reich, you blink a couple times, and all of a sudden you're able to see everything perfectly in grayscale, right? And what you see is the person comes down to near the end of the alley and throws their cloak off their head and turns around. And when they do so, you realize it's not actually a man. Why'd you assume gender? It's actually a female that's standing before you. And she is, of course, a human because, Stahlberg have those disadvantages. And she stands there and says... Were you sent here?
I'll
Rye.
just nod. Yeah. Oh, it's right. No, yeah, I'll just nod.
You have the coin.
It's in a safe place.
Well, a safe place better be my hand, or you're not going to get any information.
We can get it for you. Give me a minute, and I'll look to Reich, and just nod, look at Reich, look at her, and then I'll walk out of the alley to go find these two.
You can't find them.
They're not out of the alley. I just kind of shrug. I'm like, I guess I'll look around the market for them.
Roll for me a, I suppose, investigation check, sir.
Sure.
I guess like I'm paying you back, huh?
Yeah.
I'm 75 gold.
You
Yeah,
search
looks like
around
we-
for a few minutes, and the whole time the woman has her arms crossed across her chest, and she's tapping her foot. And after several minutes of looking around, and Reich and her awkwardly standing across each other, in silence, you come back empty-handed.
I come back and I'll just say our comrades have it. They were with us, and they seem to have gotten lost in the marketplace.
Well, that
So this
seems
is the-
rather convenient, doesn't it?
No, it's rather inconvenient actually.
Oh, yes, I tend to agree, but I just, perhaps you have coin on you then.
Not enough.
Well, then, piss off. And she goes to push past Reich. Well,
I'm
not
looking at you.
not literally shove,
Yeah.
but if Reich is standing in the way.
She's gonna move past me. I'm
yeah.
not gonna try to physically stop her. I'm gonna look at him and I'm gonna say, I can pay part of it.
Well, maybe. Hold on, and I'll call out to her.
Yeah.
Can we just give you
A
10 gold.
portion.
A
A
portion.
portion. No,
A
I'm not
portion,
going to settle for a portion.
Just so you'll wait for us to get our friends who have the full amount.
If you have 10 gold, I'll give you 10 minutes. And then after that time is done, I still want that 75. I'll put my
I look
neck
at
up on
Reich.
the line here for you.
I breathe heavily and I produce the 10 gold.
She looks at it to inspect that it's real. Like she like hard looks at one of the coins, like a random one selected out of the handful that you gave her, and then she's like, "Well, time's ticking."
I walk off to go find these two again.
Okay, roll an investigation for me.
I'm gonna help him this time.
Yep, you both
She's
roll an
gonna leave.
investigation. You're good.
You're not gonna stay with her to like physically detain her if she tries to go.
They're
No,
too trusting.
I'm not gonna hold. No, I'm not gonna hold her here.
So
Oh, great. Look at us.
after like 8 more minutes of walking around and talking, finally you hear a description of Stalbor. You just start, because your investigation's rather low anyways. They're like, "Oh yeah, the tall, weird-looking elf. He went in there and had quite the beauty with him." And you guys are directed into a shady-looking brothel of just not high quality.
I walk in the brothel. Do we see them?
Okay, you walk in the brothel and you do see them sitting off back in a back corner, as away from the entertainment as they possibly can be, awkwardly not having conversation, but not paying attention to what's going on there. It's a strange setting that the two of them have put themselves in.
I'll kind of jet up to them.
Odette is just like holding her head, like just like not enjoying this at all.
So I jet up to them and I'm like, "What are you guys doing? We have the con. No, just give me the gold."
We were being
In
inconspicuous.
front of
time,
everyone?
time.
You need to be more clear.
This
Give
seems
me the gold.
conspicuous.
Well, we don't have time for conspicuous. Let's go. Come with me or give me the gold.
Okay, and gets the gold out and
What is this that's happening? This is so apparently something on my. This is super annoying. Something on my keyboard is activating my. That's never happened to me before, so I have to be wary of it. Yeah, I also have to be wary of it. All right, so moving on. So you guys go as quickly to it as you can. And when you guys get back out there, it's been a considerable amount of time. You can see she's literally walking out of the alleyway as you're making your way over.
I just start walking toward her and walk past her down the alleyway if I can.
She's leaving the alleyway and going off. So
then I follow her then.
you follow her, like you followed somebody last time.
Is that the one? Is that the woman? He like has the like copper coil in his hand.
Yeah. So you said okay. So I hear you. I yes, and I just keep following her.
I cast message on her and I was like, stop.
She when she hears that, she like looks around super shady like and immediately just starts to book it.
I chase.
No, don't run. That's the opposite of
chase.
stop.
I don't know who you are, and she keeps running.
I call out, "It's me!"
And then she whips around with a familiar voice and looks, and she's like, "Not exactly subtle, are you?" And she calls out.
In fact, no one could hear anything. I was incredibly subtle.
Come, and like several people around are watching this all happening as she like starts saying come, and brings you guys into a random doorway. You don't know if she knows where this building goes or not, but she literally opens up the door to the nearest building and just starts walking into it. It brings you into like the front hallway of a residential area holding several apartments. On the floor in the hallway happens to be somebody who's completely passed out. Judging by you give a quick look at them or whatever, judging by the way that they're drooling, the fact that it has a slight foam to it, you can tell that they're actually partaking in a rather common drug in this area. But it's called the fizz. But they probably aren't very aware of what's going on between you guys. So she's like, "Well, have you got the coin or not?"
I nod. You gave me the gold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I produced the 75 gold.
Jeez, the hardest
And like I
bit of
hold it
work
in
I've
front of her
ever
to grab.
had. She holds her hand out for you to drop it into it.
And I say, "But we need the name," and I kind of pull it back slightly.
Absolutely, there's 4 on 1 right now, so let me count it, and then I'll give you the information since you've already made things fucking difficult as it is.
I'll look back at the group.
Just kidding.
There's no need to swear.
when Stalwart says that, I'll shrug and I'll give her the gold.
So after
I'll
she
now make an agreement.
after she literally just weighs it in her hand and doesn't actually count it, she's like, "All right, listen, it's an area that you can only get to through a sky cart, or at least a small one at that." And she starts giving you directions down into the cogs, which is the lowest part of the city. She starts giving you directions to get there, and she's like, it's actually rather difficult to get to because of the turns that you have to make, and there's even a tunnel that you have to go through at one point. But you just follow these exact directions. And then kind of like looking at you guys, and I imagine the person she's looking at the most, because that's her point of contact, is Luca, and she sees kind of like a dull look in his eyes because Luca just doesn't seem like the brightest to her. She actually will then go ahead and here we go. She actually will go ahead and write it down so you guys have the directions written. I'm sorry, the volume was loud. I was trying to turn it down a little bit. Music got wicked loud. So you guys take the written directions. Yep.
And I say, and the name.
The name of what?
And I turn back to the group and I'm like, we're told to get a name, no?
A name of what? I'm telling you with the location of the bases. What you guys are just not well organized, are you?
Do you guys
No.
reply when I say...
It's just literally just a blank, like a. He doesn't really know what's going on either. And then he'll very like after I guess an uncomfortable call. Sorry.
I was worried about our
I
protection
really
earlier.
don't
I was
want to
half
go to the
listening.
cog.
I'm sorry to say this, but you are the least charismatic group of people I've ever come across. I mean, seriously, not one of you can have a conversation. I'm glad
I'm a
this
little
job
out
is
of my
done.
element.
And she literally this time she actually will push past somebody if they're even slightly in the way, like shoulder nudge them, and walk out the door.
Yeah, she shoulder nudges me. And I look back at the group like... Were we not supposed to get a name?
Well, I guess we've got a place in the cogs, the worst part of the city. If you thought my apartment was bad, it is. Cogs is worse.
Oh, I found out what key I'm pressing that's causing this issue. Haha. That's funny. Okay, I get it now.
I don't know what would be any.
I had to test it. I'm sorry.
I don't think there was a name involved.
Because I'm thinking about it, he told us there was this group here that was responsible. We never told the other name.
I don't think we were really. Either we weren't told much about what the character was giving us, or we are actually just terrible. But yeah, I guess we got a location, huh?
Yeah, works.
We aren't very good at this.
Okay.
That's fair.
I don't think
this
any
is
of us
not-
are adventurers.
This is not how we garnered information from where I was from.
How did you garner information from where you're from? I imagine violence was involved.
Yes.
Alright.
Well, maybe we should do some investigating.
Sky car.
Okay. So you guys want to go and investigate what exactly? Because all you got was a location of where their base is. So what was it you were hoping to take with that information? Were you hoping to approach the authorities? Which authorities did you want to approach, and all that stuff?
Odette is always for going to the authorities with the information.
Yeah, no, I don't trust the authorities as of right now fully, seeing as what has happened last time. And
Maybe
then
we can go there and see what's happening.
yeah, we can go at least go check out the area.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
Everything I've informed my house of, they just keep saying they'll look into it, and quite frankly, it's time someone looks into it.
Okay. Well, maybe they have been looking into it. So you guys go and you want to procure yourself a sky cart to get into this area?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Erin, could you do me a favor really quickly? Can you actually roll me a persuasion check? But I am going to be kind and give you an advantage on this one.
I'm still not gonna succeed, but thank you.
I'm seeing a 16 in your future.
Actually, a 21. Okay. So you go and you try to contact and be like, first of all, they do ask you why it is that you need a sky cart.
House business. I'm looking into something for them.
That's all you offer them is I'm looking into something of house business?
Yep.
Okay.
Working with House Denise.
Okay. Then immediately they give you one of the most conspicuous house carts they possibly have because you're a person that it represents the house extremely well.
Excellent.
It is a large and very
Fantastic.
conspicuous one. Okay. So when she comes back like with a sky cart that she's probably going to have to man herself, even though she has, I think, no skill in that. Do you have skill in that? What are your tool
I'm trained.
proficiencies?
A
Vehicles land.
game.
Vehicles land actually will work for this sort of thing because it's a house thing or whatever. So she comes back piloting herself a very large and conspicuous ornate cart that she expects you to fly into the cogs of Sharn.
I'm gonna say
That won't fit in the cogs.
she said a small cart.
This is what I was able to get.
I
Well,
mean,
we might be bringing back a third of it.
There was no way I could like try to get something else.
Oh, you certainly could have if you wanted to ask. You can
Oh.
bring it back and try to ask.
Yes, I'm gonna say
yeah,
I'm working
come
with House
back
City.
with
It's like
something better.
this is a matter of security. It's a little too ornate, but I appreciate it. It's very beautiful.
So you go back and you're like, you said you're on official house business.
Yes, working with House Beneath for a matter of security.
Oh, you need something more subtle then.
Yes.
Oh, well, you could have said subtle. And so the one that they're going to bring to you, and just to describe it, it is a magical sphere. It's a magical disc that is very, very, very simple. The disc is magical and has like almost like an inscription, a circular inscription of runes on the top. And then you can see that these runes are projecting from a gem that's probably about the size of my fist in real life. So the gem is a good size gem, something that would take usually 2 hands for somebody to hold, and would take a good amount of space in their pack. But if you say the right command word and place it out in front of you, it begins to float on its own like you would imagine a tensor's floating disc doing. Up to 4 people of normal size can stand on this thing, and if you happen to be somebody who's trained in using this sort of device, you can actually cause it to fly around free of the ground anywhere within the confines of Sharn. Outside of Sharn, it barely works at all. It can hover off the ground, but it's not even a fully functioning tensor's floating disc out there. It has limitless energy while it's in Sharn, however, has extremely limited energy outside of Sharn, and that's just because of the manifestation zone that we have here. So anyways, this disc is given to you for you to be able to fly around. It doesn't give you any cover except for directly beneath you, because the magical force would protect you. Everywhere around you is completely exposed.
Okay, this will be excellent. Thank you.
Certainly, and good luck in your twannings with Denise.
You know, this is unlike anything I've ever done, so I appreciate the gesture.
And then you guys want to go down there and investigate the area that they were referring to, which sounds great. But you know what? Why don't we go ahead and take our first break, which will last about 5 minutes. And then when we come back from that first break, we will start with the investigation of that area, probably trying to be stealthy on a glowing magical thing.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you all very much. Thank you.